Welcome back to my channel. This video for my segment I spent listening meeting for. In this video I make two part. The part one is complete the missing part, and the second retell the story. So let's go to part one. The part one is complete the missing part by the golden goose. There was a man who had 3 sons, the youngest of whom was considered very silly, and everybody used to mock him and make fun of him. The eldest son wanted to go and cut wood in the forest, and before he left home, his mother prepared beautiful pancakes and a bottle of wine for him to take with him, so that he might not suffer from hunger or thirst. As he entered the forest, he met a grey old man, who bade him good morning and said, "Give me a little piece of cake out of your basket, and a drop of wine out of your bottle, for I am very hungry and thirsty." But the clever son replied, "What give you my cake and my wine? Why, if I did, I should have none for myself. Not I. I need it. So take yourself off." And he left the man standing and went out. The young man began cutting down a tree, but it was not long before he made a false stroke. The axe slipped and cut his arm so badly that he was obliged to go home and had it bound up. Now, his false stroke was caused by the little grey old man. Next day, the second son went into the forest to cut wood, and his mother gave him a cake and bottle of wine. As he entered the wood, the same little old man met him and begged for a piece of cake and a drop of wine. But the second son answered rudely, "What I might give to you, I shall want myself, so be off." Then he left the little old man standing in the road and walked on. His punishment soon came. He had scarcely given 2 strokes on the tree with his axe, when he hit his leg such a terrible blow that he was obliged to limp home in great pain. Then the stupid son said to his father, "Let me go for once and cut wood in the forest." But his father said, "No, your brothers have been hurt already, and it would be worse for you, who don't understand wood cutting." The boy, however, began so hard to be allowed to go that his father said, "There, get along with you. You will buy your experience very dearly." I expect his mother, however, gave him a cake which had been made with water and baked in the ashes, and a bottle of sour beer. When he reached the wood, the very same little old man met him, and after greeting him kindly, said, "Give me a little of your cake and drop from your bottle, for I am very hungry and thirsty." "Oh," replied simple youth, "I have only a cake which has been baked in the ashes, and some sour beer. But you are welcome to a share of it. Let us sit down and eat and drink together." So They seated themselves, and behold, when the young opened his blanket, the cake had been turned into a beautiful cake, and the sour beer into wine. After they had eaten and drank enough, the little old man said, "Because you have been kind-hearted and share your dinner with me, I will make you in future lucky in all you undertake." Mm, There stands an old tree. Cut it down, and you will find something good at the root. Then the old man said farewell and left him. The youth set to work, and very soon success in felling the tree when he found sitting at the root a goose whose feathers were a pure gold. He took it out, and instead of going home, carried it with him to an inn at a little distance, where he intended to pass the night. The the landlord had three daughters who look at the goose with the goosey with avionic eyes. They had never seen such a wonderful bird, and longed to have at least one of its feathers. "Ah," thought the least, "I shall soon have an opportunity to pluck one of them." And so it happened, for not long after the young man left the room, she instantly went up to the bird and took hold of its wing. But as she did so, the finger and thumb remained and stuck fast. In a short time after, the second sister came in, with the full expectation of gaining a golden feather. But as she taught her sister to move her from the bird, her hand stuck fast to her sister's dress, and neither of them could free herself. At least, in came the third sister with the same intention. Keep away," screamed the other two. In heaven's name, keep away." But the second, but she could not imagine why she should keep away. If they were near the golden bird, why should not she be there? So she made a spring forward and told her second sister, and immediately she also was made a prisoner, and in this position they were obliged to remain by the goosey all night. In the morning, the young man came in, took the goosey on his arms, and went away without troubling himself about the three girls who were following close behind him. And as he walked quickly, they were obliged to run one behind the other, left or right of him, just as he was inclined to go. In the middle of a field, they were met by the person of the parish, who looked without wonder at the procession as it came near him. "Shame on you," he cried out. "What are you about, you bold packers? fake horses running after a young man in way, through the files. Go home, all of you. He placed his hand on the youngest to pull her back, but the moment he touched her, he also became quite fixed and was obliged to follow and run like the rest. In a few minutes, the, the clerk met them, and when he saw the person running after the girls, he wondered greatly and cried out, "Hello, Master Parson, where are you running in such haste? Have you forgotten that that there is a thing today?" And as the procession did not stop, he ran after it and seized the person gone. In a moment, he found that his hand was fixed, and he also had to run like the rest. And now there were 5 rotting along, one behind the other. Presently, two persons became by with their sickles from the fire. The person called after them and begged them to come and release him and the clerk. Hardly had they touched the cart when they also stuck fast as the others, and the simpleton with the golden goosey travelled with the 7. After a while they came to a city in which reigned a king who had a daughter of such a melancholy disposition that no one could make her love. Therefore, he issued a decree that whoever would make the princess love should have her in marriage. Now, when the simple young heard this, he ran before her, and the whole 7 turned after him. The sight was so delicious that the moment the princess saw it, she burst into a violent fit of laughter, and they thought she would never leave off. After this, the youth went to the king and demanded his daughter in marriage according to the king's decree. But his majesty did not quite like to have the young man for a son-in-law, so he said that before he would consent to the marriage, the young must bring him a man who could drink all the wine in the king's cellar. And the simpleton went into the forest for the thought, "If anyone can help me, it is the little grey man." When he arrived at the spot where he had cut down the tree, there stood a man with a very miserable face. The youth asked him why he looked so sorrowful. "Oh," he exclaimed, "I suffer such dreadful distress that nothing seems able to quench it, and cold water I cannot endure. I have imbibed a case of wine already, but it was just like a drop of water on a hot stone. "I can help you," cried the young man. "Come with me and you shall have your fill. I promise you. Open this." He led the man into the king's cellar where he opened the casks one after another and drank until his back ached. And before the day closed, he had quite emptied the king's cellar. Again the young man asked for his bride, but the king was annoyed at the thought of giving his daughter to such a common fellow, and to get rid of him, he made another condition. He said that no man should have his daughter who could not find someone able to eat up an whole mountain of bread. Away went the simpleton to the forest as before, and there in the same place sat a man beating himself roundly with a belt and making the most horrible face. As the young approached, he cried, "I have eaten a whole oven full of rolls, but it has not satisfied me a bit. I am as hungry as ever, and my stomach feels so empty that I am obliged to bind it around tightly, or I should die of hunger." The simpleton could hardly contain himself for joy when he heard this. Get up," he exclaimed, "and come with me, and I will give you plenty to eat. I warrant." So he led him to take the king court when his majesty had ordered all the poor in the kingdom to be made into bread and piled up in a high mountain. The hungry man placed himself before the bread and began to eat, and before evening the whole filled and disappeared. Then the simpleton went a third time to the king, and asked for his bride, but the king made several excuses, and at least said that if he could bring him a ship that would travel as well by land as by water, then he should, without any future condition, marry his daughter. The youth went at once straight to the forest and saw the same old grey man to whom he had given his cake. "Ah," he said as the young approached, "it was I who sent the man to eat and drink, and I will also give you a ship that can travel by land or by sea. Because when you thought I was poor, you were kind-hearted and gave me food and drink." The young took the ship, and when the king saw it, he was quite surprised, but he could not any longer refuse to give him his daughter in marriage. The wedding was celebrated with great pomp, and after the king's death, the simple woodcutter inherited the whole kingdom and lived happily with his wife. Okay, part 1 is got already, and so let's go to part 2. 2 is retelling story of Ernest Clayton expedition. There are another explorers who have been to Antarctica, but Skeleton's trip is especially interesting. His goal was to be the first person to walk across the continent of Antarctica. This trip was also special because of the problems and difficulties that Skeleton and his crew endured along the way. His trip also called the endurance. It's like he knew about the difficult event to come. They left London in 1914 with a 29-man crew, six, 69 sled dogs and a cat. They stopped for a while in Argentina before proceeding to the South Georgia, an island about 1800 300 miles from Antarctica. When they left South Georgia on 5 of December 1940, the water was filled with ice, but Skeleton and his crews proceeded on their journey because Skeleton believed they still could reach the Antarctic continent. That was a wrong guess. However, Skeleton and his crew continued on their journey, but on January 18, 1915, as the Endurance approached Antarctica, it became stuck in the ice. It couldn't go anywhere. The crew stayed on the ship, which floated along with the ice for more than 10 months. During that time, the crew lived on the ship. On 27th of October 1915, Skeleton ordered his crew to leave the ship. They brought food, supplies, and 3 small boats with them. They camped on a large bit of floating ice. It was such a good decision to make because a month after that, they saw the Endurance get crushed by the ice and sink. Skeleton and his team camped for 6 months. They survived by eating food from the ship. When it had run out of stock, they hunted animals around and even ended up killing and eating their dogs. It was in April 1916 when the crew saw an elephant land about 100 miles away. They ported to the island by 3 small boats they had bought because the ice below them was getting thinner and could break at any time. It was a terrible 7-day journey from them to get to the Elephant Island. They all nearly died on the journey. The crew was on land, but there was no hope that they would be rescued from Elephant Island. It was too far away. The nearest people were on South Georgia Island, over 1800 miles away. Then Skeleton decided to go to South Georgia. He knew it was their only hope. On April 24, 1916, Skeleton and five men left in one of the small boats to try to get to South Georgia. 20 men stay on Elephant Island. They had a rogue 17 days in stormy sea until they reached South Georgia. It was not only that, but they also still needed to walk for uh, 36 hours to reach the whaling station. It was on 20th of May when they reached the walrus and asked for rescue for their friends and in Elephant Island. The rescues used 3 boats and took more than 3 months. On 30 of August 19 and 16, or 22 months after they left on their journey. Everyone on the island was finally rescued. It was miraculously that everyone survived on the island. Okay, thank you for watching my video. I'm sorry if I have a mistake. Because I stay study and learn how to speak fluently and how to pronounce it better. So please forgive me and thank you.